Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. Welcome to the show. It's Action Movie Anatomy. It's Wednesday. You're watching this, and we're talking to you from the future. It's actually the past. Who even knows? What we know is that we're covering the Count of Monte freaking Cristo today. This is one of Andrew's favorite movies of all time, so we can't wait to talk about this for you guys on the show today. JC, the star that should have been. We'll see you guys in just one quick second.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Action Movie Anatomy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
JC, Jesus Christ, what's up? Wait, what?
Oh, I didn't even get that.
Yeah,
you got the joke.
Yeah.
I didn't even.
Yeah, I mean, he's Jesus Christ.
Same initials.
Passion of the Christ, same initials, and his career is an anomaly.
Unbelievable. What's up, guys? How you doing? It's Action Movie Anatomy here on Wednesday. We're back. It's the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network dedicated to talking movies, all things movie-related and pop culture by the bucketful. Do you think that if I asked you to say that phrase 3 times fast, you could do it?
Yeah, I've actually practiced it.
Yeah?
I have, because it is a hard thing to say.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Well, especially because you say all things pop culture and pop culture by the bucketful, and
Yeah.
it used to be all things movies and movie related.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I like the pop culture by the bucketful.
Yeah,
I think it's a good
It's good. Welcome to Popcorn Talk. What's up, everybody? It's Action Movie Anatomy.
I'm glad that I don't have to say it.
Yeah.
If that's what you're trying
Nice.
to get.
Yeah, it's exciting for you. This is the show where we talk about action movies. On the show, they adhere to 4 basic rules. Number 1, the hero and the villain always plays by their own rules.
Yep.
Yeah, Dantes in the end does.
Yeah, I mean, he's forced in. I mean, he clearly does it in the beginning. He doesn't know what the hell is going on, and then he absolutely plays by his own rules.
In the beginning, he's kind of a little bitch.
He is, and I think the innocence of Edmond Dantes is what makes this movie so successful.
Yeah,
successful.
So rewarding. Yeah,
I feel like
agree.
once you ask me to say something, I've had
Yeah.
a hard time saying anything.
We wrapped another taping because
We
you
did.
guys are seeing this at a time. This isn't live, by the way. This is
Yeah, are we live? Are we in the future? So we're in the
taped-
now for us, we're in the future, but when you guys watch this, we will be in the past.
It's not that complicated. We taped this, and you guys are seeing it at a later date. Welcome to television. So
Whatever.
We're yes, but the innocence and I was gonna make a joke about us just like railing shots of Jameson between shows, but then I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, no one knows when. We don't even know when this is airing. So rule number 2.
That's the rule. Hero and the villain are always the smartest people in the room. We should tape every other week, do this, because the second episode, it always seems like we're on drugs. 'Cause
Yeah,
we're so
they're pretty
exhausted.
hilarious.
Yeah. Rule number 2, the hero and the villain are always the smartest people in the room. Mondego's not. He's cunning, but he's not the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah, he's just an asshole.
Yeah, he's ruthless.
In kind of everything is starting to catch up with him.
Yeah.
So he's definitely not the smartest guy in the room, and I mean Edmond 100% is,
It's almost like,
unless he's in a room with Richard Harris.
yeah, like he's not the. It's almost like Edmund is by the end of the movie the smartest guy in the room, and then Mercedes is like the other smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Kinda, you know, she knows, because it's really interesting they make the choice that she's the only one that immediately recognizes him. Everybody else, it's kind of like it's just like over their head.
Yeah, and I love that line that she said, because I love that it is kind of ridiculous where you're like, she's the only one that notices him.
It's like Clark Kent glasses. Right?
Yeah, exactly. But then when he like is rude to her and kicks her out of the carriage and all that, and then she comes back, she's
Right.
like, "You said the name Dantes.
Yeah,
I
right.
never said that." You're like, "Yes, okay, good." There's more than just like the Clark Kent glasses.
The classic red herring of writing.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about an Anne Lively. I'll look her up. Yeah. Rule
Never
number
heard
3. The movie is driven by a police, military, or political or mercenary figure.
I think we just missed there.
He's none
I mean,
of
he's
those things.
technically. He works for the Navy. He's the captain of a ship in the Queen's Army.
The Ferio.
Ferial? No,
For a second.
no, that is
And
not.
There's no explosion in this movie, so rule 4 is a straight miss.
Yep.
There. Yep. But this movie's sweet, so we're going to talk about it anyway.
Sick. There's explosions of emotion.
All over the place.
Really quickly, I'm Andrew Ghai. You can find me online at Andrew Ghai on Instagram and Twitter, and you can also find the podcast at AMA Podcast on Twitter.
Yeah, you guys can find me at Ben Bateman Media, Twitter, Instagram. It's kind of wild, the lighting in this studio. We're not filming in our normal studio.
I know.
The blue I'm seeing here,
I know. I'm looking. I kind of like it.
it's kind of a trip.
Sexy.
Kind of a trip. Yep, that's where you guys can find us there. So we are going to talk about this movie coming up today on the show. We're going to be talking about 3 of our favorite mentor characters ever, because Richard Harris is a revelation in this
Yes, he
film.
is.
This just in, one of the all-time great actors. We're going to be talking about Jim Caviezel's career and where it went after 2004. We're going to be talking about maybe young Hollywood stars if we have time, though it's a little shorter of an episode today, so maybe
Yeah,
not.
it might just be a sound off on some of our favorites.
Yeah, and then, thesis statement, fist pump, all the things that you guys have come to know and love about action movie anatomy. So I say let's get straight into things. Let's watch that trailer.
Yeah, let's do it. Ooh, I'm curious.
It's a good trailer.
I bet it's probably not that good.
As a slave.
As a slave.
That's this time period.
you finally hit something.
Not in the movie.
Being
It
your
is.
friend is always an adventure.
Beginning.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
I watched the
Edmond
film.
Dantes had a promising future and a love
The music's pretty 2002.
Yeah, it is.
that any man would envy.
It's like should be in the Matrix
I can afford
Yeah.
the ring.
or like Dark City.
100%.
90s.
Yeah.
You're under arrest by order of the
love
magistrate of
that
Marseille.
any man would envy.
Yeah, the music is so 90s. It goes to.
Yeah.
It's complicated. I didn't quite understand why you were betraying him, but now, having seen his exquisite fiancée, I understand completely.
She is very beautiful.
She's very beautiful.
Inform Mercedes that Edmond Dantes has been executed.
My advice, take solace in the comfort of your good friend.
It's so funny because it's drawn up like almost a soap opera nowadays.
Yeah.
But in the 2000s, that's what we wanted.
Right.
It's like he betrayed her and
Totally.
he did this and she's with him.
God, this looks steamy.
Yeah.
What if there's a sex scene?
Yeah. Ooh.
And in 02, usually,
There usually was.
with an actress who's really, really beautiful, but not really an anybody, that you could pretty much predict you'd see her naked at some
Yeah, and
point.
I'm glad that she didn't do that in this
Yeah,
movie.
I agree.
You are wealthier than any man I have ever heard.
Louis Guzman is just—he's the silent ringer of this movie.
Always,
he's
yeah.
phenomenal.
This period in time in Hollywood, he was just killing it. Everything.
Yeah.
He was in.
I will change my identity. I shall become a count.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Count
of Monte Cristo.
Count on revenge.
Monte Cristo.
Count on revenge.
Yeah.
Damn it.
I'm a count,
Not a saint.
not a saint.
Ooh, that was an explosion. Guy Pearce's gun was an explosion.
That's fair.
Yep.
Not a great trailer.
Pretty bad.
Yeah, it's
I'm assuming in 2002 it was probably kind of sweet.
it's fine. I think it sells that movie as being kind of just a generic by the numbers adventure movie. But the thing about this movie that's funny is that it's regarded by people as this like forgotten classic. But if you don't think about it much and you just remember it coming out, it is a by the numbers adventure movie.
Totally.
That's what this movie like felt like to people when it came out.
Yeah, it's only if you truly like love and watch this movie and appreciate. I mean, because the great thing about this movie is all the performances are fantastic. It's written really well. It's a really well made movie all the way across the board, and it's a good story. It's a great revenge tale. So, maybe it was mismarketed. I mean, definitely mismarketed. Like
100%.
I mean, I don't know what it was like in 2002. It probably looked cool, but it still seems very mismarketed.
Well, also remember for a second, like we're gonna get to where these actors were in their careers, but think about that for a second. I mean, Memento was 2000.
Yeah.
It was 2000.
Yeah.
So and Caviezel at this point is basically, he's not really in anybody. So
No,
like,
he's not really in anybody. He's kind of done a little bit, but like he'd started to get these leading roles and like Pay It Forward and Angel Eyes. He was
Thin
like,
Red Line,
yeah, Thin Red
98.
Line, and then
he had a few years, but I mean, this is like sort of his moment. But he was, you know, I think about the equivalent of this movie hitting theaters right now, and this would be like a movie starring Oscar Isaac 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Like where he's like, oh, he's that guy. I've seen his face. He was in Robin Hood. He's in a bunch of stuff. And then, you know, the other star would be like, again, like Tom Hardy 3 or 4 years ago, kind of just like one of those guys who's like, oh, he's hot. He's coming up. He's had a movie we all saw.
yeah, and Guy Pearce was definitely the more famous of the two. It's weird because
Sort
Guy
of.
Pearce has this weird thing where it's like no one ever wants to see him as the leading man.
Right.
Yeah, which is actually is perfect to talk about here.
Yeah, for sure. So we are going to get into our thesis statement. If you guys are watching or listening for the first time, this is that part of the show where we talk about our biggest, boldest thought about the movie. It's the thing that really kind of defines what you feel about the movie. If you want to bring it up to someone, this is the point you're going to start with. Rooted in hyperbole, the greatest this, the only this, should never just be like, you know, this is my favorite instance of a beautiful woman not getting naked in a movie. You know, or Hawkeye's good in Civil War. Or something.
Right.
You know, stupid thesis.
Oh, it wasn't my thesis, by the way. I'm going to jump in first, and I'm going to say that Guy Pearce is the most criminally underrated leading man / villain on screen, period. If you go and you watch Memento, he's the bad guy in that movie.
Right.
And he also has movie star charisma in it because you are so captured by what he's doing.
Totally.
He's incredibly engaging. You just want to watch him exist. Lawless, he's fantastic in. He's such a good shitweasel. And his career has just kind of been lackluster. You know what I mean? Like, he's definitely had big moments.
Yeah.
He's had great role. I mean, Iron Man was a big moment for
Yeah.
him, but it was also like Iron Man 3 kind of sucked.
He's got he's shown up in all these movies, like, so he's really good in The Proposition. That's like kind of an indie western. It's very
Right.
well renowned in Australian film.
The
Like,
Illusionist, is he in that? Or is that just Ed
I think it's just Ed Norton.
Yeah, he's not in
He
there?
shows up at the end of The Road for a minute. Do you
Oh
remember
yeah,
that?
the veteran in The Road. Yep.
He's like a really interesting actor. He was in that movie Lockout, or Lockout, the one with Maggie Grace. Taken Girl. Hurricane Heist Girl, and he plays like something Snow in the movie.
And yeah, I mean, and you look at his career, and there's a lot of movies, and he was in Prometheus,
The Time
yeah,
Machine.
Lockout. He's in a lot of movies. King's Speech, Animal Kingdom. Oh my God, I forgot he was in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
He's so good in that movie. He's
Time
such
Machine,
a
right? Isn't that's him?
yeah. He's
Hard
such a
Against
good actor, and it's not like if you look at his career, yeah, it was 2000. It was the same year as this movie. It's not like if you look at his career, like, well, it's not like he hasn't been working. It's just that he hasn't really been put in positions to excel and exceed and propel his career.
Also, like, when you think about a movie like Memento, there's like a certain stigma that gets associated when like an actor will break out in a movie like that, where it's like a cultural, like one of those movies that was like everybody saw that movie that year. It was
Right, like if Kevin Spacey was only Kaiser Soze, you would probably not be like, is Kevin Spacey one of the greatest? Because the role itself is so, and
Right.
the movie itself is held to such a high standard.
completely, and that's kind of what Memento was for a lot of people, which is sort of actually hilarious if you go back and think about the fact that he followed it up with Insomnia, Nolan. Like, it's like it was maybe his worst movie is his follow up to like what a lot of people consider to be his like classic.
Yeah.
Interesting. I haven't watched Memento in a few years, but
I watched it again pretty recently, and it definitely holds up. It's definitely the darkest thing that he's ever done.
yeah,
I would say.
pretty raw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, anyway, guys, we are going to get into the show. So,
your thesis.
Thesis statement, yeah.
Oh yeah.
My thesis statement is that Jim Caviezel is the most forgotten leading man of his generation. And
It's
this
just,
movie,
they're so interesting. Our thesi is very similar.
yeah, and this movie is such a clear and stark reminder of it for me because, like, this is his peak. This is his moment. If you look around this time, it's like Thin Red Line in '98. We had talked about it. You know, Angel Eyes, Pay It Forward. You know, he's kind of showing up in things here and there. He's a helicopter pilot in The Rock in '96. He
And
shows
then-
up in this in '02.
Yeah.
And then The Passion of the Christ, which is his career-defining role for sure. But also, that's like kind of the end for him. He's the villain in Deja Vu in 2006.
And he's very good in
He's
Deja Vu.
creepy. And then he just sort of stops being in anything that matters. He like doesn't.
And it doesn't make sense because we've done this with actors on our show. It's like, well, maybe they had a drinking problem, maybe they had an issue with this, maybe whatever. He's got a bad attitude, all these things, and for him, I never really heard anything.
I've heard that he is outwardly Christian,
Oh,
which would make sense with that role. And
Mm-hmm.
he also like just has a movie that just came out, I think, called like John the Apostle.
yeah, which Paul the Apostle,
Paul the Apostle.
Paul Apostle of Christ.
That's
yeah.
what it is. Yeah. And like forgive me if that was an incredibly ignorant thing to say
Yeah,
in
it's
the
fine.
context of religion.
I mean, at least you named one of the apostles.
So that's what I've heard, and that doesn't surprise me. He did have a role on Person of Interest for like 5 years.
Yeah.
People love that show. I know people think
Did
that
they
show,
really?
Yeah, apparently that show's really
show
good.
was as popular as it was, but yeah, I remember seeing.
You know who's behind that show? Is Jonathan Nolan. That's why that show is
right,
good.
Right, yeah,
So-
yeah. I remember seeing Paul Apostle of Christ, the trailer, and I was just like, what are you doing? Like, you already did
Yeah.
the Passion of the Christ, and it was like one of the most. And so now he's got this rumored film coming out, The Passion of the Christ Resurrection.
Oh right, I've heard of the sequel.
So maybe that's why. And like again, we're not bashing on religious people by any means, but maybe it was his radical Christianity, whatever you want to
yeah.
call it. Maybe it was that, but I can't figure it out.
Yeah, you make choices as an actor, and the way you live your life, and the outward representation of your personality in the industry is one of them. And if that's a choice he made, obviously his faith was more important to him than having a varied career. So like, if that's the case, that's the case.
Yeah, more power to you.
Exactly.
But it is really weird when you look at his film career, and you're just like Even despite that, I'm sure there were people reaching out to you to make certain movies.
Totally. I
you
mean,
know?
yeah, he was a guy that seemed like after 04 was a star, straight up.
Yeah.
And this movie reminds you that he had what it took. This is like this is an adventure movie more than an action movie. This is
Yes.
much more in line with like your Princess Bride type of movie, and he carries it really well.
He crushes it. He's soft and he's believable and he's the everyman. And then also you watch him do his transformation. You're like, I would do everything the same way.
Yeah.
And then you see him lose it in moments when he's like, when Luis Guzman's like, you're mad. He's like, I'm not mad. Why mad? Why would I be mad? All my enemies are falling directly into my plan. You know, it's like he's crazed.
Yeah.
He's incensed. So yeah, those are our thesis statements. And they're both. It's funny. They're very similar, but for opposing actors.
Well, I think this movie is a very, very underrated movie.
Everyone in this movie is. I think every single person in this movie. The most famous person in this movie is Henry Cavill, which is a joke.
That is so funny.
It's crazy to think about.
He is actually.
He's bigger than Richard Harris ever was. Even though Richard Harris is so famous and so revered, Cavill's number is like star power is way up here. So
Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone in this movie is great though.
Yeah. Everybody does a great job. So talking about Richard Harris, I want to get into my fist bump moment because I think my fist bump moment has to be when he is training Dantes in the prison, and he says to him like, he says to me, "Teach me to fight, or I stop digging." And he starts to teach him, and it starts with like a total Karate Kid move with the dripping water.
the dripping water.
And he can't do it. And he's like, "Speed! Yeah, you have to be quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah." And he's like so much older, but he's still so fast.
Yeah.
And
I love the camera shot too. It's great, like right at you.
And I love that. And then I also love that when he's like teaching him, Dantes now so focused, he's getting whipped. And as he's getting whipped, he's like reciting mathematics in like Latin, in Italian or something.
It's amazing.
It's like so like classic action movie, just like this is ridiculous, but it's also so memorable.
Oh, it's
so memorable.
The training montage in the prison might be the best part of the whole movie.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. Richard Harris is fantastic, and he's the guy who's going to die.
Yeah, of course.
But he's so good, and his death is really sad.
It is. Yeah, it's really, really tragic, and like Dantes just seizes the opportunity. It's awesome.
That's what I love. I mean, that's why there's moments of this when you're watching it, and especially like that moment and how it all comes together perfectly, and the amount of times they say each other's names. It's like you just feel that it comes from a book.
One of my, I almost want to save it for favorite line, so maybe I will.
Save it? Okay.
Because I was going to say my actual fist pump in that scene is this line.
Oh.
I'll use it because I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, it's when he says to him, "Do not commit the crime for which you now serve the sentence."
Right.
And that's such a cool moment. It's such a cool fist bump because you're like, he is so driven to learn this stuff because of his vengeance and his anger. And you know exactly what's going to happen when he gets out. You know that he's not going to be this like man of higher learning.
No, he's going to do it.
He's going to use all the tools, but he's definitely going to try to seek revenge.
Yeah, and he says, "I surely will seek my vengeance," like as Priest is dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting you say that line. So, because he does.
Big shout out to Kevin Undergaro, who is the owner, EP, founder of AfterBuzz and Popcorn Talk. That's one of his favorite lines. I was texting with him this morning, and he literally texted me that line and another one. So neglect becomes our ally is the other one. He texted
Neglect becomes our ally is fantastic. Yeah, this is Kevin's second favorite movie of all time behind Rocky.
Yeah,
which is very fitting. Oh man, I totally lost my train of thought. It was about Richard Harris. Oh, so that line. He commits so technically the crime that he got sent to prison for that they say is murder because he's saying that he murdered one of the gendarmes when he was escaping. It's not treason. Right. So he does commit the crime because he kills Edmond. I mean, he kills why can't I remember his name? Edmond Dantes and Mondego. He kills Mondego
at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he does commit the crime that he was sent there for.
Yeah.
I just think that's very interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's a great, there's so many fist pumps in there. I love when he finally gets the hand in and out and he's like,
yeah, right. It's
like checks to make sure. Yeah.
So awesome. So, but speaking of which, fist bump moments, because Richard Harris seems like he's definitely a favorite of ours.
I didn't say mine yet.
Oh, you didn't say your fist
No,
pump?
I didn't say mine.
Oh, please say your fist bump moment.
My fist pump moment, there's definitely a handful of them, but I think my actual favorite one, well, I have to say, I love when he blocks the sword with his naked hand.
Yeah.
He's got a glove. You're just like,
yeah,
that's badass. But my favorite is when he takes the sword in one move from
Mondego?
From Mondego,
Yeah.
and he's like, "I see somebody touch you the sword."
Yeah,
and you're just
yeah.
like, yeah,
and you're like, you have no idea.
Yes, exactly. Like one move, sword out of his hand, he's just like standing there.
We didn't even explain what fist bump moment is in this show.
Oh yeah, because we're so excited.
We're so excited. Fist bump moment is that moment something happens. You literally are just like, I'm so excited to watch the rest of this movie, and that's totally one of those moments.
I looked around, I was just like, yes, yes.
No idea how much trouble you're in.
Because in the very beginning, Mondego just kicks he's just like poking at him and stabbing him, and it's pretty rough.
Yeah, totally. So that's going to wrap up that. But because Richard Harris is a total badass, we do want to talk about a segment inspired by him, which is top 3 mentor characters. Now, this is not going to be the only 3. It's 3 interesting mentor characters in movies that we both love.
Right.
And we're just going to kind of share 3 here. I have a few really fun ones.
Let me see them real quick. I just want to make sure that you don't have any of the ones that are... Yeah, so like some of the classic ones that people want to throw in, like Yoda
Yeah.
is a great one, but
Yeah.
I didn't want to put that, like, he's such a,
Yeah, of
there's like a
course.
few of the like massive ones. Although I do feel like my number 3 is kind of ridiculous in one of those. It's Morpheus.
Oh, that's
He's
a
like-
great one.
Yeah, I mean it's
But
amazing.
It's so classic.
It's so classic. It's,
Yeah.
it just is like you have to say Morpheus.
I, honest to God, think that like when you talk about movies that have like when we went back and watched it for the show a couple years ago, it's like
Yeah.
I love The Matrix so much. It's so good.
It's so timeless.
Yeah.
And it was so ahead of its time. Like
It's just and Fishburne's so sweet and like it's
the
just
birth of Hugo Weaving's career.
yeah.
Yeah, that movie is still to this day one of the absolute most incredible. So I have to go Morpheus. It's
a great
Red Pill or Blue Pill. Like he's the man. He sacrificed himself.
I'm gonna go with my first one's gonna be Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid.
Oh, that's great. That's so good.
Yeah, not Jackie Chan, but
Although I heard he was good in that one.
yeah. Wait, how am I forgetting?
Pat.
Pat Morita.
Yeah, Moria or something
Morita.
like that.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank God.
Yeah, you're almost there. Good thing you got me on your team.
Yeah.
So my number 2, which I think is a pretty cool. But my whole list is pretty obscure. So my number 2, I'm going to go with, which is Hiroko Yuki Sanada, Ujio from The Last Samurai.
Yes.
He is tough love by the book. Like
Beats the crap out of Cruz.
he kicks Cruz's ass so bad, and at the end when they're fighting next to each other, he doesn't have to say anything.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that he even will fight and stand next
Yeah,
to him in the
next to
samurai
Cruz.
armor. You're just like,
There are movies that I so badly want to just do again on the show.
oh, definitely.
That's one of them for sure. A lot of the first year movies that we did that were so much fun, I want to go back and like revisit.
I mean, you know we could.
Yeah, I think there's like maybe and if you guys are watching or listening to this, I know some of you on the Facebook page talked about that. But I definitely think that's a cool idea and something we could think about doing, which is maybe some hybrid episodes, maybe not like a full episode on a movie, but maybe you revisit, some multiple
Like
movies.
3 or 4 movies in one episode.
Yeah, I mean, what we could start doing that could be really, really fun for us if we wanted is we could start to like once a month do an episode where we go like 5 movies at a time chronologically through the show.
Oh, and go. Yeah.
We kind of do a special retrospective 5 movies at a time episode.
Well, hell, I mean, someone was just saying, and by the time this airs, it will have passed because today is for us. I'll just tell you right now, we're going to ruin all the smoke and mirrors. Today's April 18th.
Yep.
And I believe April 29th, not the 25th. The 29th was the first time Ben and I ever sat down at this desk and did AMA 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So something retrospective like that could be really cool.
Big time. It's an interesting idea. We should float this maybe, that thing about like a retrospective series, because what we could actually do would be if the Patreon for Team Action, which we're going to get to shout-outs in a second here, if it reached a high enough number, I wonder if we could add a 5th show a month. Double down once a month in a studio here,
Right.
and actually do that once a month. Like prep a show, come in and do like a 5 movie at a time retrospective, and start going one at a time, a month at a time, 5 movies through. And it would take us forever to catch up.
We've done so many movies.
But going back to the beginning, like it would allow us to not spend much time on the movies that we don't really want to revisit, and get to spend the loving 10 to 15 minutes on the ones we do,
we want to go back to.
which should be fun. So maybe it's
We
worth
also
it.
just need to do a Mortal Kombat episode again.
We really do.
So really quickly, I'm just going to remind people, my number 3 was Morpheus, and my number 2 is Ujio.
Yeah.
Who's your number 2?
Number 2 is going to be Liam Neeson, Ra's al Ghul from Batman Begins.
Yes!
Yeah, I know it's a small one because but he's so good.
That's so good.
He's like a really good teacher, and I just love him in that movie.
Cool. But the spirit of Ra's al Ghul is immortal.
Yeah.
This is going to be so crazy, but I realized it's my favorite part of the entire movie, and the role will stick in my mind forever. It's Pai Mei from Kill Bill 2.
Oh, interesting.
The expert
The guy with
tutelage.
the
with
the hair and the beard.
I just like. No, I'll tell you why. Because not only is that sequence the best part of that whole film, Kill Bill 2, but like he's such a badass, but he's unwavering in his morals and the what he teaches. But like he's like he like lightens up. He shows compassion towards those, and like the fact that he like picks out Daryl Hannah's eye for calling him a miserable fool and stuff like that. Like, there's just something so badass about him in the very first fight that he has when he almost breaks off or chops off her arm. And
Right.
He's just awesome.
For sure.
And then, like, anytime I watch that, if that movie's ever on, I'm like, okay, if I can see the cruel tutelage of Pai Mei, then I'm going to watch it.
I have not seen Kill Bill 2 since theaters.
I didn't think you did.
Yeah, I saw it in theaters. I saw both of them.
It was fine, right?
Yeah. I remember at the time liking it more than Kill Bill 1
Yeah, that's interesting.
because I was like more dialogue heavy.
Yeah, it's definitely more of a drama.
But then like going back and like thinking about those movies, like I really liked Kill Bill 1 when we watched it again. I was like pretty blown away by it. And I think I'd probably dislike Kill Bill 2 more than I did in the first place.
I was so happy that you liked Kill Bill 1
It was
so much.
awesome. My last one, my final mentor character, and this is a funny one. This is kind of out on a limb. Is Ryan Gosling from Crazy Stupid Love?
Oh,
Jacob.
that is so good.
Because he's
Him coaching Carell.
it's so good. I just watched that movie again.
It's very funny.
I saw it again like 2 weeks ago on an airplane, and like I had seen it in theaters and remembered that I thought it was really funny. It's so good.
It's Academy Award duo on screen right there.
Dude, it's so funny. Like the whole movie is just like
Like you get a little gay for Ryan Gosling in it.
He's the
right?
best.
He's like incredibly charming and good looking
Yeah.
and incredibly well dressed.
But also I watch it now, like 5 years or 6 years later, whenever.
you're like that's a fuck boy.
And I'm a little bit like that was cool when I was like, 23.
Right,
And like I'm a
right.
man now, and like that's the worst.
That's the guy that I hate.
yeah. You're like I hope I never want to be that guy.
So funny.
But when you're young, you're like, oh man, confidence like that.
So cool.
Yeah, he dresses so well. He's so jacked and tan. Yeah.
Like, yep, and you're a douchebag.
Yeah, but he's great in that movie, and he trains the shit out of Carell.
Yeah.
I love the moment where Carell is with Marissa Tomei, and they're at the bar, and he like just says all the wrong things, and then she makes some comment, and he's like, "This is a very hot outfit." He's like, layers. He's like, I've got a sweater over a shirt over a tie with a jacket. It just seals in the sweat.
Yeah, that movie's very good.
Yeah.
So that's your okay. So those are our top. So that's a great list.
Yeah,
I
mentor
like that. I'm glad we
characters.
were able
Yeah.
to talk about that real quick.
Tweet at us, guys, if you want to share yours with us as well. And by the way, a couple quick shout outs for you guys. The first one that I do want to share is we have a couple Patreon shout outs. David Bell and Chris Ang both
Yes.
deserve a salute. Welcome to the Action Army. Thanks
We
for
salute you.
subscribing to the Patreon. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/Team Action, where you guys can find weekly content that we do in front of a large Nicolas Cage wall hanging of him looking very regal.
It's amazing.
We give you guys about like a 10 to 15 minute video every single week. We upload it privately to the Patreon, and pretty soon we'll probably start sharing the ones from the early portion and making them public so you guys
Yeah.
can just all watch them. But all you have to do is donate $1 a month. There's cool stuff. Like if you donate a little bit of money, you can call into the show sometimes, pick movies we do sometimes. There's a lot of great stuff. So check that out, patreon.com.
And another thing you can
Team
do,
Action.
patreon.com/Team Action. Sorry to cut you off. Another thing you can do at the highest level is the general level is, like Ben said, is you can pick a movie, or you can actually maybe make some Schmodown suggestions for us. We participate in the movie trivia Schmodown as Team Action. You can maybe pick an entrance idea for us, a theme, a gimmick to go with. And the reason that I mention that is because we are going to be performing live on June 2nd at the El Portal Theater in North Hollywood as Team Action, doing movie trivia against the Shire Wolves,
Yeah.
our good friends Rachel Cushing and Clark Wolf.
Yeah, and I have a debt to avenge this match. So that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Stupid Fife Club.
I hate them, and we will avenge you. We were
Yeah.
gonna destroy them. And Draco just got lucky. Those questions were complete utter bullshit. So, schmodownlive.com, June 2nd, El Portal Theater, Team Action will be there. Back to the episode.
Back to the episode. So let's get into star profiles. We mentioned it a little bit already because that's kind of the point of both of our thesis statements. But Caviezel and Ghai Pearce, both their careers. So again, Ghai Pearce. Have you ever seen Ravenous? We've talked about this before.
No.
You need to watch it.
I
'Cause you
I
love
looked
Ghai
at it
Pearce.
again yesterday.
Yeah, it's the soundtrack to Ravenous is the best part. It's so weird. It's the guy from Blur.
Is it
that
a
does
horror movie?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's like a weird like supernatural horror.
Is he
like
a vampire?
Black comedy. They're cannibals.
Okay, I know of it, but I don't. Yeah,
It's like Robert Carlyle and Ghai Pearce, and like the premise is like basically if you eat somebody, you like gain their strength.
oh,
And so it's like these. It's like
99.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's before. It's like it's the same year as or the year before Memento. So Ghai Pearce is like sort of breaking through. Nobody really saw Ravenous. I remember it coming out. I remember my buddy and I in 6th grade were both like, "You see Ravenous? It looks pretty cool."
So Neil McDonald is one of
Yeah.
my favorite, like just cardboard cut bad guys. You know him from like Walking Tall and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
he's the
yeah.
guy with
Yeah,
the
yeah, of
silver
course,
hair
of
and the
course.
blue eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
But I love that the first thing on IMDb is him like looking crazy in the Ravenous poster. So I will definitely check that out.
Yeah, that guy's such a that guy is such a shit weasel.
Yeah, and I actually really like that guy. So yeah, he did Ravenous in '99. He does The Rules of Engagement in 2000, and then Memento in 2000 as well. So like,
I'm assuming you've seen Rules of Engagement.
this is a Samuel L. Jackson one.
Yeah, with Tommy Lee, I think.
Yeah, I don't remember it, but I think I've seen it.
I think I've seen The General's Daughter, but I haven't seen Rules of Engagement. Maybe.
General's Daughter. That's a Travolta one, right? And then there's Heart's War, and then there's Captain Corelli's Mandolin.
What did I just watch recently?
Just like all these.
What did I just watch? I watched like a procedural, like some Travolta movie that I had never seen. Oh, I watched Basic. I don't think I've seen General's Daughter.
I haven't seen Basic.
Yeah, it's not very good. It's McTiernan, so I watched it.
Yeah. Rules of Engagement, if I remember, is not very good. And then, of course, Memento, as we all know, was a massive cult classic. And that puts him on the map. And then you flip to the other side, you got Caviezel, who does Pay It Forward in 2000, but he wasn't really remembered in that movie. It was
Family?
Yeah, yeah. So it's Haley Joel Osment, Helen Hunt, and Kevin Spacey.
Yep.
And it's based off of a book. And I remember that was a cultural phenomenon as well.
Pay It Forward?
Yeah, people were all crazy about it because everyone started to pay it forward because it was like such a novel concept, was to do something nice if someone did something nice to you.
Sure.
But then people also hated the movie because Haley Joel Osment gets stabbed at the end of it and dies. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
The year after he lost for 6 cents, he gets stabbed and dies and Pay It Forward. Rough go for the kid.
Yeah, it's brutal. And then he got nominated for an Oscar. I totally forgot.
Supporting.
The youngest ever.
Cried when he didn't get it. On camera.
What a bitch. It's like a 9-year-old at the Oscars. If I got nominated now and didn't win one, I'd cry. I'm 30, so
And Haley Joel Osment would be sitting there watching, be like, "What a bitch." He's probably like so jacked and like tatted and in prison or something, and
Well,
just like
you've
has a
seen-
picture of you on his wall.
you know what he actually looks like, right?
Yeah, isn't he? Is he the one who got in a lot of trouble? That's Jake Lloyd.
Well, yeah, Jake Lloyd did too, but Osmond put on a good amount of weight.
Yeah, I
Looks-
have
looks
that-
pretty
now I
crazy.
do remember. Yeah, I
So he did Pay It Forward in 2000. This is Haley Joel Osment we're talking about now. And then Jim Caviezel. So he does Madison in 2001. I did not see, and then Angel Eyes in 2001, which I just confused with Enough.
Okay.
Because it's like, aren't they both in it?
I don't know. One of our favorite things on the show, a classic thing about this show is how Andrew and I watched such different movies growing up. And thinking about like some of these like Pay It Forward, Angel Eyes, I'm just like, these are clearly movies that you probably would have watched growing up just based on their titles. And I also am like thinking about the movies that I watched repeatedly as a kid.
Right.
And I think about this movie and I'm like, this is such like PG-13 adventure.
Oh, totally.
That you were probably like encouraged to watch. It
Oh,
was-
my mom loves
this movie? Yeah, it doesn't
it's like one of
surprise
her
me
all-time favorites.
one bit.
Yep, absolutely.
My dad was like, let's watch Ronin. Let's watch the scene where De Niro has to dig a bullet out of his stomach with like drinking a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah, I remember watching Saving Private Ryan with my mom and her boyfriend at the time, and she was just like, I don't think we should watch this. And I was like, it's too late. We've already started. It's like 20 minutes in.
I've already seen it. I can't unsee it, Mom.
I've already seen the gnarliest parts. So getting into production development, Jay Wolpert wrote this movie. He has a really interesting career. So he got his start by winning... I'm going to just read it right here. Wolpert's first television appearance came as a contestant on the original version of Jeopardy in 1969. He competed in the Jeopardy Tournament of Champions that year and won. And then Wolpert went on to become a massive game show producer for Dan Enright in Canada. So he did movies like, he did shows like The Price is Right and Double Dare. Another one's called Hugh and Hitman, things we don't know. But $25,000 pyramid. $25,000 pyramid. That was a good one. So then you move on to him becoming a screenwriter, and he's really only written 2 movies. And that's The Count of Monte Cristo, and he got a writing credit for The Curse of the Black Pearl. So you're talking back-to-back years, massive movies. I mean, like, this movie is pretty small in comparison, but Curse of the Black Pearl is huge, and then he kind of just didn't. He just kind of doesn't anymore. He just stops.
It happens, you know. It's crazy when if you were to go through the list and you were to say like, which category, writer, producer, director, or actor, do you feel like you see the most like spotty success? And I think it's got to be writer.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, because it's that type of person, you wonder, it's like, I sell one spec script for a couple $1 million. Maybe I just settle down and have a family.
And you see these guys all the time where we'll look and it'll be like they wrote 5 movies or 4 movies, and a lot of them are in like quick sequence. I mean, like, so our buddy Anthony Tambakis, who wrote Warrior, Warrior's back in 2013 now that movie came out, or 2011 now.
Greatest movie of all time?
I guess 2011 probably.
2011 is Warrior, I believe.
Yeah, it is 2011. So, because 2012 was Bane. So that movie comes out in 2011 and puts Anthony on the map, obviously. Like, you know, and he's had a few different scripts now get produced and made into movies.
Jane's got it, or no?
He did some script consulting, and I think worked on Jane Got a Gun, and he also Gringo just hit theaters.
Yeah, Gringo.
And he's worked on some other stuff. But the point is, like, when you talk about in 10 years, if somebody goes back and looks at Anthony's career, they might not remember Gringo. It didn't open super well, and like, I enjoyed Gringo. Didn't get great reviews though.
Yeah, I
But
didn't see it, and I wasn't really dying to.
But like of the movies that he's done, Warrior is a super loved, notable movie. You know,
With massive stars in it as well, like
So
all of Jennifer Morrison, Nick Nolte, all of them.
let's say that Anthony has one more script in the next 5 years that's a really big deal, like another movie that's really big. In 20 years, looking back at his career, somebody's going to just look at the highlights, which is like what we do with everybody we look
Yeah.
at. I mean, not rightfully so, but they would look at it on paper and be like, "Oh yeah, so he wrote a couple movies."
Well, yeah, but
Which is
I
so
just think what's
interesting.
so interesting about this guy is it's like he didn't even have those Gringos, and it was just like
movies.
blockbuster done, you know?
Yeah.
And it's kind of an interesting story with Kevin Reynolds as well. So Kevin Reynolds is he kind of famous from working with Kevin Costner. They were friends for a really long time, and he did Dances with Wolves and Costner in '90. In particular, the buffalo hunting scenes where he was uncredited second unit director, and then he went on to be the leading director of Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Right, which he then worked with Costner again for Waterworld a few years later, which is proceeding. Basically, his career results in like those movies. I mean, that's pretty much the story. Tristan Isolde, he did that film Risen a couple years ago with Joseph Fiennes.
Oh yeah, and then he also did directed next dramatic thriller 187 in '97, which gave Samuel L. Jackson his first top billed leading role.
Yeah, I remember that.
Which I think is really interesting. And then he went on to do the history miniseries, The Hatfields and McCoys, which I remember.
People like that.
And that series was nominated for 16 Primetime Emmys, and one of them was for him for director, and he just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
Again. Producers Gary Barber and Roger Birnbaum and Jonathan Glickman. I think we've all talked about on the show before, but we are running a little short, and I don't really care about producers.
Yeah,
especially not these guys.
Only sometimes.
Only
do we
Bruce
care.
Berman.
Only Bruce BB. Yeah, Kevin Reynolds though he's a notable director. I mean, he's definitely a guy that he's definitely a guy. The other thing we forgot to mention on the writing front is that Kevin Reynolds wrote Red Dawn.
Oh yeah.
And that's like one of the ways that he kind of got in. So, but anyway, moving on, continuing to talk about things. I do want to talk just for a second before we move on to critical about Jim Caviezel again, because we mentioned, we're talking about kind of like these guys' careers and why nothing ever happened. And one thing that you'll notice happens, Bill Simmons talks about this a lot. He'll use the phrase course correction, where he'll say there's two actors.
Yes.
He likes to use the example of, Michael Keaton and Tom Hanks.
In the late 80s?
In the late 80s, where, it's bosom buddies, and it's like, they're both kind of these quirky, funny, handsome, talented, but like ultimately comedy-based leading men.
And you got to remember, Tom Hanks is not America's uncle yet.
No.
And Michael Keaton has not done, this is nuts, you want to get nuts.
Right.
He hasn't,
Yeah, so Keaton does Batman, it's 89, and, Tom Hanks does Big, it's like 88 or 89, and we're moving forward, and it's like, okay, who's going to emerge as the bigger star? What ended up happening is Keaton just kind of petered off. He did another Batman. His 90s were fine. By the late 90s, he was kind of done. And by the late 90s, Tom Hanks was
the biggest actor in the
pretty
world.
much the biggest actor. He won 2 Oscars.
Back to back.
And it was like the world didn't have patience for both guys anymore.
Yeah, and it was and it's so interesting because you don't even think about those two guys in the same contention as level of like actor, because Keaton's career is so lackluster compared to Hanks until the last like 5 years he started to really pick up again.
Yeah, having a little bit of a resurgence. But like if you were going to say who has the career that Caviezel could have had, and for me the one I thought of, it's years wise, it's just like one guy's a little older, but I'm going to say Ralph Fiennes ended up having, I think, the career in a lot of ways that I think Caviezel could have had. I don't know if Caviezel has the comic chops that I've seen Ralph Fiennes have. He's got that like really like kind of conniving, like angry British curses a lot thing
hilarious.
going. But aside from that, I think that they could occupy a lot of the same space. I think Caviezel is talented in the same way.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty straight up comparison. He was one of the people I thought as well. Jake Gyllenhaal was one that I thought of, but I know that he's 12 years older than Gyllenhaal. Right. So if we were going to do that, I'd be able to buy into that. But the person I think I thought of the most is Jude Law.
Sure.
And I think that Jude is one of those guys that we've talked about. They're both very good looking.
Right.
Jude Law, I think, has much more of a movie star charisma than Caviezel does, but I actually think Caviezel has more acting chops than Law does. Not that Law's not a good actor, but I think about the stretches that they've done in their career, and I think that Caviezel's probably stretched himself a little thinner. I think about the movies that I see Jude Law come into that I really enjoy him in, and the movies that I don't enjoy him in, and I could see Caviezel playing those roles, especially in one of our favorites, Road to Perdition. I could totally see Jim Caviezel being that creepy ass photographer And Jude Law is probably more B-list now in the sense of the roles that he gets. I mean, he'll always be A-list, I think, because
Yeah.
Jude Law is Jude Law. But I think that their careers could have been very similar. They were both coming up at around the same time, and I think it was honestly our obsession with rom-coms and kind of like sexy action stars in the early 2000s that kind of made their path separate.
The weird thing about Caviezel is that he has this weird way of talking like
He
this.
does.
He talks kind of quietly, and it's just kind of a little creepy at times when he talks, and you're like, okay. Like, if you were hitting on me at a bar, I might just think you were going to murder me, actually. Which is why he lent himself so well to the crazy villain in Deja Vu.
Yeah, it was because that is maybe his best role.
Big shout out, Deja Vu.
Yeah.
Big shout out. You want to just do Deja Vu right now?
Could just do Deja Vu right now.
Yeah.
Claire. Needed have mattered to you.
I'm about to you.
Okay, so those are our two. So you said
Ray Fiennes.
Ray Fiennes, and I said Jake Gyllenhaal would be nice if he was younger, but I stuck to
Jude Law?
my boy Jude Law.
Well, Jude Law has managed, interestingly enough, in the last couple of years. He had a little bit of a down period, and then he got the role of the bad guy in King Arthur, which should have been a big deal, but
Right.
wasn't. And then
Forward adjourn.
he got the role of
Oh, the young Pope was
Yeah.
a big one too.
and he's also coming along with what's it called? He's going to be in one of
The new one, the Fantastic Beasts.
He's
yeah,
he's the co-lead in that. So,
and he's also Marvel in Captain Marvel.
yes.
So that I think is going to be huge. And so, but so you pull up someone's IMDb page and it says known for, right?
Right. Closer.
Talented Mr. Ripley, Grand Budapest Hotel, Sky Captain, Closer, and Neo Yokio, and King Arthur. Like,
Weird.
that's what I'm saying.
Huh.
And Jude Law is one of the most famous people ever.
But
it's like
Sky Captain
he's
listed?
just got such a weird career. So if you guys have another actor or actress out there who you actors or actresses who you see two people who one career went through the roof, the other one's just kind of stagnated, let us know. It's a fun conversation. We'd love to see what you guys have to say about it. So
That's like fascinating to me. I
Yeah,
can't believe that.
no, you look at his known for, and it's like a C-list actor.
Here's the question I was going to ask. So, how many Oscar noms do you think? The only one that I can for sure 100% guarantee,
Who are you talking about?
Jude Law. I know almost for a fact that he got nominated for Talented Mr. Ripley. I'm pretty certain.
I don't think.
I think he might
I guess that and maybe.
Closer would be my guess.
Yeah, that would be my guess too.
those would be the
Cold Mountain.
He got one for
He
that.
got nominated for Cold
'Cause
Mountain.
he's the creepy
best actor in a leading role. Yeah.
Oh no, he's not creepy. Colin Farrell's the creepy.
Yeah, no, he's the brother or the cousin
Yeah.
or what. I've seen that movie once. Okay, so moving on. Oh, he also got nominated for a Golden Globe for The Young Pope.
Oh.
So moving on to Box Office and Critical. This was produced by Buena Vista and distributed. It cost $35 million to make back in January 25th of 2002 was when it hit theaters. It grossed $54 million domestic and 21 foreign for a grand total of $75 million. It opened at number 5 at the box office, and I wrote insert graphic, but then I forgot to grab the graphic.
Nice.
But it opens behind 5 other movies, some of which are in like their second and third weeks.
Sure.
If you want to go and pull or go through the ratings and all.
Sure, yeah. So IMDb, it's a 7.8. That feels about correct. Rotten Tomatoes has a 74 by all critics, 67 by top critics, and an 88 by audience. That makes sense. 88 by audience feels correct. That feels like that's what the audience, this is the kind of movie that is
I
loved.
feel like a 67 by top critics is a little harsh.
Yeah, I think there's the thing about this movie that I could see if I was trying to poke holes in it would be it does feel a little bit like if you want to roll your eyes and be like, this is just your by the numbers adventure story. It's
Right.
all too predictable. It's all too like, it's just like, okay, it all feels a little cartoonish in some ways.
I'm curious just to read the book.
Yeah.
Because, the book by Alexander Dumas,
Alexander Dumbass.
Shawshank, which we forgot to mention him as writers. This is based off of a book, The Count of Monte Cristo. It was like that thick.
Right.
So I wonder how much they actually pulled out of this film that would have made it that much better.
Are you shocked that they haven't announced a remake yet?
I really am, because I
it-
feel like it'll happen soon, because it's just like, it's one of those stories that just, like Three Musketeers, King Arthur, like they're all just going to keep getting remade.
Yeah, it's one of those stories. It's also one of those stories where it's like, I feel like people in the know who are making movies now saw this movie in 2002 and have now, like, people that know about it love it.
Right.
So I could see a director being like, I just really want to remake that movie with
Yeah.
like a younger, hotter, more now cast.
Yeah, and I would watch it.
Yeah, I
Totally.
do think it probably we're looking at like 4 years. Like I'll bet you like 2022 is when it happens.
Ryan Wilson could direct it. That'd be so sick.
Ryan Wilson.
Johnson.
Ryan Johnson.
I was reading it. Okay, so here we go. So back to the numbers. Black Hawk Down is at number 1 for the 5th week in a row. Snow Dogs at number 2.
Oh, killer.
In its 2nd week at theaters. A Walk to Remember opened that week.
Shane West.
At number 3. A Beautiful Mind in its 6th week was still at number 4. Isn't it interesting? Black Hawk Down and Beautiful Mind being at the top of the list that long is something that would never happen now. Like with not with A Beautiful Mind. Black Hawk Down maybe. And then at number 5 is The Count of Monte Cristo at 11.3 million, and right behind it is Mothman Prophecies at 11.2 million. No one cared about this movie, and I think that is a true test of what we were talking about with their stars profiles.
Yeah,
in the
right.
sense that their star meters were like way down.
Way down. Yeah, I totally agree.
You know, Black Hawk Down, Josh Hartnett was on top of the world, things like that. You know, so
It's weird. It's weird getting old and realizing that there's people
40 Days and 40 Nights.
who like had their moment that seemed like they were going to be a somebody in your lifetime. We're only going to be 30.
Josh Hartnett is one of the true because he was in everything.
Yeah, there was a minute where it was like, this is going to be a guy. But like, what I think it makes you realize is if you were to go back and you could live in somebody else's, if you could like live in somebody else's body from 80 years ago, 70 years ago, 60 years ago, you'd see dozens of these guys through every generation that just seem like they're going to be that guy.
Yep.
And they just aren't. And they don't stay relevant. Their career just kind of comes and goes.
Yeah, and you wonder how much of it is the beast and how much of it is them.
Yeah.
You know?
Good decisions, all that stuff. So yeah, that's definitely pretty interesting. So this movie only made a total of $75 million on a $54 million budget. They had to market it. So
No,
it cost
$35 million.
Oh, $35 million.
Yeah,
Okay,
but then with the marketing, yeah, exactly.
so it did okay.
Yeah,
Did fine.
Did fine.
Yeah.
So moving on, we're going to hit our favorite line. This
Yes.
movie has a lot of great lines in it. You would hope in a movie pulled from a book, there would be a lot of great lines in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good ones.
Do you want to repeat that one that Kevin said again?
Yeah, I do love both of those lines that Kevin shared. Let me pull it up right now.
Every time people say, Dantes?
Yeah.
Edmond?
I love when he says the Count of Monte Cristo, but my friends call me Edmond Dantes.
Yeah.
And then he goes to hang him. That's pretty
The
sweet.
first time that Luis Guzman introduces him, he's the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
It's like very...
I would say probably I definitely really, really like that line. Do not commit the crime for which you now serve the sentence. I think that's probably my favorite line in the movie.
That is a really good one. I think my favorite... I do love the "Why are you doing this? It's complicated."
Yeah.
Both of them saying it to each other is very nice. Kings to you, Fernand. But my favorite, I think, is actually when he's giving the speech, which seems kind of silly that it would come from that.
Sure.
But it says, "One moment, or you can bask in the sunlight in one moment, and the next be broken on the shore."
Right.
And I just think that's a really cool line. And then he goes, what defines you as a man is how you weather the storm or whatever. But I just like that first part of it because it's so true.
Yeah.
We know in this business you can be riding a cloud 9 and then the next day just be like, God, I need a drink.
Yeah.
It's 9 a.m.
Yeah. Don't do as we do, guys. Do as we say.
Exactly. This isn't a live show, so we don't really have any AMA questions to answer.
No,
Is there any
no.
questions you want to ask me?
How was your night last night?
Let's see. My night last night was good. It was
Yeah?
good. I watched some basketball,
That's cool.
and I made protein pancakes.
Really?
Yes,
You did that.
with banana.
That's a thing people do.
They were very good.
This is Los Angeles, folks. People make protein pancakes.
It's what I did. You asked.
A little protein powder, some bananas,
some egg whites, little bananas in there, some cinnamon if you're feeling crazy.
This is great. Be sure to drink a lot of water.
This tastes good. This tastes good.
All right, guys, that's going to wrap up AMA question. So,
I appreciate you asking. That was asked from Ben here in North Hollywood.
yep. So there are 3 action movie categories. Those 3 categories are totally ridiculous, totally legitimate, and ridiculously legitimate. We have described them a bazillion times.
I'm curious to see where this lands for you.
I think I would have to put it in the middle category.
Yeah, I thought you would say that.
Ridiculously legitimate, which is kind of a little silly, a little absurd, but held together by a couple of really strong factors that make you sort of not really laugh unintentionally much. And I think this movie to me is like, I do get a little lost in the like swashbuckling sort of like, kind of like silly nature of something.
He's like standing there, he's like,
yeah,
it's like, always have eyes in the back of your head. Is it that?
yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah.
I love that guy. Zatara. Like
It means driftwood.
yeah.
Yeah, sweet.
So for me, that's like there's that sort of like I would say the same thing about Princess Bride. This movie reminds me a lot of
I
Princess
know
Bride.
you've said that a couple times now, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, it's not the same, but adventure movies by and large, this just feels like that sort of a bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably the time period where you know nothing bad's going to happen to the good guy.
Yeah,
and, you
right.
know, that type of
Exactly,
thing.
exactly.
I think for me, because of where it sits in my heart, I'm going to have to go totally legit. There's not many moments from this where I feel completely pulled out of it. I really feel the despair of Edmond when he's in the Chateau d'If.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the warden.
Oh, the warden, one of my all-time favorite shitweasels ever.
What's that guy's name?
Cardinal Richelieu from Three Musketeers.
Yeah, the villain from The Crow.
Yeah, he's so good. Yeah, the villain from The Crow. Why can't I remember his name? I'm gonna just slow. It's like Michael.
Yeah,
Michael. Can we get there before the internet does?
Michael-
Watson. Michael Winthrop.
Winthrop.
Wincott.
Michael
Wincott.
There
Damn
you
it.
go. There you go.
Internet,
Michael Wincott.
thank you so much. But yeah, so for me, I think I have to go totally legitimate.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. There's only one thing left to do on the show, and that's called the pitch. See, we don't have a movie to pitch, but I thought I'd put Andrew on the spot just to see if he'd react and just do the pitch anyway.
We do have a movie to pitch, kind
Really?
of. We got
yeah.
an idea to pitch.
So I was wrong.
Hey Ben, tell me about the producers.
So next week on the show, if this is airing when we think it's going to be airing, we hope. We hope this all works out. It's just streaming live right now.
Yeah.
We are going to be covering one of either Deadpool 1 or Deadpool 2. So what's going to happen is Drew and I are going to go see a screening.
Yep.
It is very likely that when you're watching this, I'm in New York. That's why we're doing this.
Right, right.
So it's possible that I will not be seeing the press screening of Deadpool 2 that I want to see, or I'll have to see it in New York, one or the other.
And then we'll cover Deadpool 1, or maybe we'll watch Deadpool 2 and be let down by it and want to do Deadpool 1 anyways because we know that's a good movie.
Exactly. So one or the other. I don't think we're going to do both, but we will do one or the other. So that's going to wrap that up. As always, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out our Facebook fan page. You can find it. There's one for Action Movie Anatomy. There's another one for the Action Army. As Andrew mentioned, June 2nd, El Portal Theater. Schmodown Live. Team Action's going to be taking on the Shire Wolves. We're knocking down Emma Fife, her squad.
Cushing and Draco and Wolf
Yeah.
are all done.
All done. And yeah, check out the Patreon, guys. Patreon.com/Team Action. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Same time, same place next week.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners and principals.